Sales of EVs are expanding really quickly, but they're quite expensive, aren't they? They're unaffordable for most people. That is until now. We have a car here today that you can get into, including charges, delivery charges, everything, for under 30,000 euros that will still do 300 kilometers easily with a whole bunch of tech inside it. This thing could very well cause shockwaves through the EV industry. This MG is only in the country, cleared from Dublin port about 24 hours ago, still got UK reg plates on it. And it's quite a departure from what we know from MG, back from the really small little sports cars to the last few years where they've been quite reasonably priced, sensible electric vehicles. This one is a little bit different. Let's get stuck into the details, have a good look around. A real step up in design here from the other MGs that we've seen. Now, the MG ZS EV and the MG5 have gotten recent refreshes and they look a lot sharper, but I think this is a real step up again. A lot more aggressive styling, really sharp. Got this indentation that runs around the bonnet in a kind of a U shape. Nice big badge as well, but the front splitter just here down at the bottom, and a lot of air intakes, but you can even just see it's a real aggressive style. I like the lighting signatures. It's looking good, isn't it? From this angle you can really see that hatchback styling coming through now, because it's a shorter car. It's only just above 4 meters long and not that tall either. We can see some of the trim here. We've got that black, kind of gloss black trim coming all the way along the side. It's reflected in the roof as well, so you've got that two-tone element. Wing mirrors are in it and it's reflected in the wheels as well. Now they're not full alloys just there. This is a plastic trim put on the outside. All versions you get of the MG4 come with these 17-inch alloys, but what you're actually seeing here is a plastic insert that's going over the top of them, and these are aero covers that just help get you a little bit more range. They do look really well, silver and black contrasting two-tone, but you can always rip them off if you want and go with the alloys. No, I'm not going to risk it. It's a press car, it has to go back in about an hour. Little bit of black plastic trim as we come down along the side, but let's not forget that this car is very inexpensive and we want to be saving a little bit of weight and money in its design. You can see the hatchback form coming through here at the C-pillar. The door is cut off as well, and we've got a slightly sloping roof and filler cap just here, but we'll talk about charging a little bit more later on. The improvements that MG have been making over the last few years are really apparent inside as well. This feels a lot more premium than the price suggests it should be. So what do we have? Well, we've got the 7-inch display, driver's display, just behind the steering wheel here, and that's giving you a decent amount of information. We've got, you can have up your navigation, but your battery percentage, remaining range, various other bits of information. Then over here we've got the 10.25-inch infotainment screen. Now, it's not amazing, it's a little bit grayscale, it's not quite the fastest that you might come across, but no complaints whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad by any sense. For the price, it's really good. You know, I'll tell you a bit about the weather. You've got Android Auto, you can hook up there. Then this floating console just here, you've got your electronic parking brake, but also the rotary dial to choose neutral, reverse, drive. And there's a whole lot of space down here as well, because this was conceived as a fully electric vehicle. You don't have that transmission tunnel. So we've a bit of space underneath just there, small bit of netting, maybe hold your phone or a wallet or something like that. And then this sliding panel just down there, which you can hide away some keys or your wallet, and a couple of cup holders. But yeah, overall it feels really nice. I like the gloss black, it's real tidy. Different materials on the steering wheel with a flat bottom, just give you that little bit more space. And yeah, like it's really impressive. Now we're here with the highest spec, so we've got that two-tone material on the seats. So we've got a bit of leather and then the cloth inserts. But yeah, very good. Some really nice features here at the back as well. I think it's got a good bit of character. I really like these spoilers. They're two-tone as well. Got that gloss black underneath and then the orange body color on top. Air cascades down just underneath those and over this strong light bar that goes across the back. It's real strong and firm look to it, and it's actually got some light signatures across the top just there that'll really stand out at night. But let's open it up. Now we've got a rear facing camera just there. Inside we've got 363 litres of space, which is actually quite decent. I mean, that's going to do most people. But what I do like is that the boot is modular. So if we don't need all that space at the moment and we just want a flat floor, you can take out this here, fold out the two sides, and we slot it back in. There's a couple of catches just there. And now we've got a flat floor, which is great for sitting down or for sliding your shopping and your bags straight in and straight out. Nice and easy to use. Let's take the MG4 out for a little spin. We're going to pull out of the car park here. Let's kick things off talking about motors. So the one that we have here today, the higher spec, has the 150 kilowatt motor, which is just over 200 horsepower. And whoa, yeah, you can feel it as we take off there. Now there's a few different settings in this. Personally, I just prefer sport mode, having all the power there on tap and just that immediacy that the electric drivetrain gives you. You plant your foot and it's there straight away. You're not waiting to build up revs. And this has plenty of power. So about 250 Newton meters of torque. Now, if you're interested in it, that's the 0 to 100 kilometer time in this version in 7.9 seconds. If you go for the smaller battery, which also has a smaller motor, but still manages to get there in 7.7 as opposed to this 7.9. So there is no shortage of power there. As we ease off then, you've got the 3 different levels of regen. And with this one, you can toggle between the 3 different ones. So it's level 1, 2, and 3 essentially. And you can really feel the difference as well once you go in between them. Number 1 being coasting, number 3 is what we have it on now. So you floor it, whoa, and then yeah, you feel the drag. So I'm not touching the brakes at the moment. We're going downhill and yet we're still slowing down. And that's charging up the battery at the same time through regenerative braking, or as MG normally call it, KERS, which is Kinetic Energy Recovery System. Let's talk charging quickly on the MG4. So we've got 2 different battery packs coming with this car. The standard range, which is 51 kilowatt hours, and the longer range, which is 64 kilowatt hours. Now, here's your charging flap just there. So we've got the Type 2 AC at the top, and that's the charger that you might use at home. And then take out this little rubber bong here, and we've got 2 extra pins for the combined charging system, CCS. That's the DC, the real fast charging. So let's go back to AC, which you might do at home. Now, the MG4, no matter which battery or spec you go for, it comes with 7 kilowatts across the board. Now, that's absolutely fine. It's not really falling that far behind, but then some of the competition is up at 11, and even the likes of the Renault Zoe goes up to 22. Now, this car can do 11, and I would have loved to see them releasing that in the Irish market as well. So even though homes can't quite take anymore, still, when you're out at restaurants or cinemas or a car park while you're shopping, it'd be nice to plug in a little bit more. Then on DC, it's actually quite impressive for a car this size. So if you go for the smaller battery, it'll peak at 117 kilowatts charging speed, but the bigger battery will go up to 135. So really just a quick half-hour stop when you're on those long motorway journeys and you've got plenty of range to get anywhere else in the country. Let's quickly talk specs and prices on the MG4, because we've got 3 different options on the whole. Now, you can choose different colors and stuff like that as well, but in general, you've got the entry price, which is 28,500, 29,000, including charges. And for that, you get the smaller battery, the 51 kilowatt hour, and this kind of standard lower Excite spec. Then the other 2 options both have the larger batteries, the 64 kilowatt hour battery, and you can go for the Excite spec or the exclusive. And those prices are about 32 and then 36.5 or thereabouts. And that once again includes all delivery charges. So for you, you're going to need to make up your mind. Do I need that extra bit of range? Or am I happy just to take the standard cloth fabric inside? I don't need the 2-tone roof. Save yourself the little bit of money. But there's a whole host of tech that comes with the top spec in this. And when you look at the competition and what you get for 37,000 euros, maybe that's the one for you. Throw on top the 7-year warranty. Yeah, it's interesting. So let's talk then a little bit about how the car handles, because we've got a hatchback style here. Now with EVs and just the way the market is going in general, we're seeing so many SUVs these days, so it's kind of a welcome sight to get something a little bit smaller and more compact, and you can really feel it when you're driving as well. So this is rear wheel drive, the 150 kilowatt motor in the back, and it's a good bit of fun. Who says that you can't have fun in an EV? Whoa, with this kind of power. And with that big old battery tucked away underneath us, down in the floor of the car, you get a 50-50 weight distribution, and the center of gravity is really, really low. So when you're taking corners, it doesn't loll about at all. Now, that would be one kind of criticism almost of the MG ZS EV and even the MG5, that they're just a little bit wafty. This one, on the other hand, no, it's excellent. Take it, wow, just the power, yeah. So MG4 have designed a platform that's dedicated to electric vehicles called the MSP, the Modular Scalable Platform. And what that enables it to do is to get rid of all the stuff that you would normally associate with a combustion engine car and just start off from scratch, get a lot more interior space. So at 4.2, just over 4.2 meters long, let's see what type of space you do get inside. Now, I'm 6'2" for 1.88, 1.89 meters thereabouts. So let's see what type of space I have. So I have this seat set up for me. The seating position is quite low, and let's see, yeah, I've got 3 or 4 inches of headspace just there. It's in a nice comfortable position for me now. Let's go and have a look in the back and see what it would be like for someone else. And this is just a reminder that we're talking about 2 people at 6'2" here. Step in, and yeah, my knees are just about touching, unless I'm screwed right back, they're just about touching the seat in front. And I've got, you know, about 2 inches of headspace up there. But, you know, just ask the driver to move forward a little bit. But having said that, that's 2 people at 6'2", so the space is actually very, very good for a car of this proportion. Now that we're in a little slower moving traffic, it gives us a chance to catch our breath, and we might talk about range. So we've got 2 battery options in this. There's the smaller 51 kilowatt hour and the larger 64 kilowatt hour. Now that 51 kilowatt hours is gross, so it'll have a little bit less than that that's usable, and the same for the 64. The usable battery in that one is about 61.5 kilowatt hours. In terms of range then, we're looking at WLTP ranges of about 350 and then 450 kilometers. So that is pretty impressive. And this is quite a small car. It's relatively light as well, so you're getting pretty good range out of it. Now, the thing with EVs, as we all know, is those WLTP figures can be a little bit optimistic sometimes. But I think that you're buying, with the MG4, a solid 300, and then if you go for the bigger battery one, 400 kilometer range car. And I think that if you're careful with this in summertime, you know, and you can get those figures down to around 11 or 12 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, I think you're then looking at a range of 500, even just above 500 kilometers in summer. Having said that, stick it onto the motorway in winter, really cold, might be down in the low 300s or 300 thereabout, but that's still plenty to get you from Dublin to Galway, even Dublin to Cork. Yeah, it's quite impressive. For the money that you're paying, it's hugely impressive. MG have been sold out on their other cars for so long now. The demand is so high, and the problem is not going to be any different with this. I don't know how they're going to get their hands on enough to supply the market. It does so much so well. Now, it's not going to be for everybody. It might not be big enough. Maybe the looks are too aggressive. Maybe they're looking for something with more of a premium interior. But it's at the price point, starting off in and around 29,000 euros, and get a fully kitted out 200 horsepower hatchback with 400 kilometers of range for 36,000 euros on the road, delivery charges all in. It's hugely impressive. But we want to know what you think. Let us know in the comments. Do you like the car? Do you like the looks? What spec would you go for? You still going to be a big fan of the ID3 or a Cupra or even something like a Renault Zoe or a Leaf over this? We want to hear from you. Please do give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. We're starting to do a lot more of these videos now. We're really getting stuck in trying to bring you the information that you need. And of course, if you're thinking about renewing car insurance, jump onto the AA's website, theAA.ie. But we've also got travel and home insurance, and of course the classic breakdown rescue.